tome gde je ta granica ljudskosti koju kad pređeš više nema nazad. Kad sebi...
Ne da ova džukela izađe sa laži da se tuku student. Jel to u redu?
To će sve da se rešava. Nisam sad ni u situaciji niti bilo šta, znači da pričam.
Dobro, nije problem, ali ako treba da predsjednik laže celu državu da se tuku student...
Nemojte, molim vas, nisam ni sad, trećete sam da se izaći iz sale. Boli me sve me živo zoni.
Ok, ali nije korektno ni s tvoje strane onda. Ja bi dao izjavu pa da umirem.
I am Sasha Jovanović. Aleksandar Jovanović actually is my full name. Sasha is the middle name. I'm from Serbia, from little town called Šabac. And I've been living in US for the last 5 years.
Nas prvi Narrated Božić.
My early life was a lot of fun. I grew up in a loving family. It was a lot of fun despite all the difficulties because since the day I was born in my country, a crisis started, which led into 3 civil wars. And Serbia had like the biggest hyperinflation since World War II. So I experienced a lot of poverty around me. I even have memories being a kid and waiting for 5 to 6 hours in the car, waiting in line to get get gas, or waiting in line to get like anything from the grocery store. We definitely had to struggle a lot. My parents pretty much had to like work 2 jobs and barely spend time sometimes with me and my brother. I come from the really high educated family, and once hyperinflation hit, pretty much their income had no value. My grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my dad, my little brother, me, and my cousin. 7 of us lived in 2-bedroom, 1-bed apartment. So we all had to stick together, live together under one roof to survive. Being in a country that has sanctions opposing them, that has a communist kind of socialist dictator who rules with iron fist, can, how to say, mentally impact you in a lot of ways because you feel like you're trapped and there's no future for you. There's no bright future. There's crime everywhere, corruption everywhere, killing everywhere around you. So it's kind of like almost all your life you're like creating a little bubble where you can feel safe and you're surrounding yourself with the people that are like you, but like it's like you're trapped pretty much, that if I can summarize it. Kat is my wife. We met in Belgrade in Serbia while I was playing on a festival at the time and she was visiting Serbia. Kat was in Serbia because she actually went to school in Iceland, and Iceland is part of the Schengen zone. So when you come from US, you can be in Schengen zone for 90 days. She realized at some point that she only can be 90 days, but her semester is longer than 90 days. So she had to leave the Schengen zone. So she was looking at the map and she just randomly chose Serbia. It was kind of like a sign to me because that was the sign that I was kind of waiting for a long time. Like I just wanted to meet a person that I can be myself fully. And the first night we met, we spent a night just talking for hours at the Belgrade Fortress, looking at the sky and the river, just drinking beers and talking all night. After hours of talking, I was just listening to her and we were talking about similar subjects and all the main points of my interest in my life she also was interested in. And that's when it hit me. I said, well, this might be the person you've been waiting for these years. After she left Serbia, we kept in contact for like a month or two, and then she invited me to Israel. I wanted to go to Israel like immediately when she called me, but I also like I'm really cautious and always think about the worst case scenario, because especially at that time there was a war in Syria, and Kat was actually on the border with Syria at Golan Heights in some hostel. And I even said to myself, maybe like a month before I met her, I was watching the news about ISIS and all that, and I said to myself, well, even if I won the lottery, I would never travel to the Middle East. But when she called me, I was like, yeah, I want to go. So I asked all my friends, and most of them said, don't go, you barely know this girl. But one person was like, you should go. And that's all I had to hear to just make my decision. So I went to Israel to travel with her. That's the first country we were together. After that, she started going to school, and her first semester was in Iceland, and second semester was in Tanzania. So she invited me to visit her there, and I did. She also visited Serbia a few times to see me, and at some point we had like a little trip together around Europe. So we went to Romania, we went to Hungary, we went to Austria, we went to Slovakia and Czech Republic. At the time when we got engaged, we were in Zanzibar. It's been like at that time like a year and a half, and it was obvious to me that it's gonna be more and more hard for us to keep in touch. Long distance relationship from US to Serbia, it's almost like impossible, since I cannot come to US and don't have the visa. If we want to build something, if we want to make this work, we should try to be and stay together. So K1 visa is that type of visa. Once you get it, you have 90 days to enter USA, and once you enter USA, you have 90 days to get married. So when it comes to filling up the application, our process was long and dreadful. The biggest thing, as I remember during that process, you have to prove that you are in the relationship with this person. Which is, again, I'm coming back to an idea as Fiance. I don't understand, as I saw some people got approved, even though, like, in the show, you can clearly see that, a lot of it's fake, but people still get approved. I don't like the type of reality shows that promotes, I would say, abuse of the system. And I think because of that type of show and because of a lot of people abusing the system, me and Kat and a lot of other people had to go through a lot of legal issues. But I can definitely see that, some people, because of that show, marked me or us as a 90-day fiance couple, where I am just with Kat for a green card. So once I got my visa, I wanted to have like 3 weeks to just say goodbye to everyone. But unfortunately for me, COVID came to Italy 2 days after I got my visa. At that moment, I thought to myself, oh, this might be a problem. This might become a pandemic, and US might close their borders. We bought a ticket 3 weeks from that moment when I got my visa approved. But since the COVID came in, we decided to cancel that flight and buy a new one and leave in 3 days. So I pretty much packed my life in 2.5 days and say goodbye to most of the friends and family in my hometown and just left. So my first year in US, I can say, was pretty interesting, because when you get to US, You don't get social security number, you don't get work permit immediately. When I got to the US, the COVID started, so that prolonged me getting my work permit for a year. So Kat pretty much had to work by herself for a year and take care of us. We also had a lot of other challenges. By some circumstances, we ended up living in Section 8 housing, and we lived in a really dangerous neighborhood. There was a lot of looting, there was even shooting, fights, a lot of noise at night. I think for first 8 months we barely slept, me and Kat. And that definitely impacted our mental state. And at some point when I realized how actually dangerous my neighborhood is, sometimes I realized like, yeah, that never happened to me in Serbia. Like in Serbia, I can walk anywhere I want in the middle of the night, through the park, through the forest, wherever. Like I'll feel safe. There's nothing gonna happen to me. You know, the most I'm here for Kat, but technically I'm coming here for better life. Suddenly I have to worry about my safety. When I came to US to start life with Kat, you know, we had this perfect scenario how things will go, and obviously things didn't go the way we planned. And I realized that, you know, all my life I tried to do everything myself. I tried to fix everything myself, including myself, and the results were always the same. It never worked. I realized when I got myself out of that environment, I was able to clearly see better, I guess, on my life in Serbia. I think coming back to Serbia for the first time was an eye-opener. You know, when you leave for the first time, I only remember the good parts about it. I romanticized Serbia a lot. I forgot all the bad things. You know, when I came back and when I kind of saw all the reasons why I always wanted to leave, that's when I realized that my decision to leave was actually good for me. You know, from us having troubles to even be together, and then being together, living in Section 8 housing with one salary that was like a little bit above minimum wage, and then to change like 4 states, and now to live in Philly, and to have a good job, being in a really happy marriage, and just like feeling that you kind of like for the first time in your life have control over your life. It's the biggest personal development. If there is any sacrifice you should make, it's for someone you love. As I said already, I was ready to leave even before, and I'm kind of glad that the reason was actually love. Because most of Serbs leave Serbia because of lack of opportunity, corruption, politics, a lot of others, money. But I left for love, and I think it's great. The only advice that I can give to anyone who's trying to be with someone is to just love them unconditionally. And you know, there's nothing when two people love each other truly. There's no obstacles, no visa, no border. There's nothing that can keep two people away.